If you're a student who loves solving puzzles, then you need to hear this. Today we're diving into the battle of the minds design, thinking versus traditional methods. Traditional problem solving is like following a recipe, step by step, no surprises. But design thinking, it's like cooking without a recipe, creativity on full blast. Join us as we explore how these two approaches stack up and which one might just make you the next big innovator. Ready to flex those brain muscles? Let's go.
Hello, and today I want to probably speak on design thinking topic, but I want to draw a difference between design thinking and traditional, problem solving approaches, because some of you may have noted that I'm too keen on design thinking, and that is what I've been doing as a coach and a facilitator. And maybe the question that may be lingering in so many heads is there a difference between design thinking and the traditional or the normal approaches to problem solving? And I want to take you through some of those differences, and I hope you'll be able to separate the two. Number one, when you think about the traditional way of solving problems, we consider them to be very linear and analytical. That is, they advocate that you define a problem, you analyze it, you find a solution, and implement it. But when you look at the design thinking, it's very iterative and human centered. Iterative basically means you're allowed to go back. It's almost circular. And then when you talk about human centered, we are saying it focuses and emphasizes so much on empathy, you know, getting into the shoes of the person whom you're solving the problem for. And therefore, design thinking is more of define, idea, or rather, empathize, define, ideate, prototype, test, and refine. So the refinement and the iteration bit is always advocating for going back. At any stage, you can go back. And that is one major differences between the traditional approach and the design thinking. For instance, if you had to use this, the traditional, in an example, the traditional approach, if there is a city that want to reduce traffic congestion, for instance, the engineer would analyze the data and they may decide to expand the roads. What about design thinking approach? The design thinking approach will require that the city or the municipalities interview the commuters, interview the city dwellers, explore the alternatives, prototype, those alternatives. For instance, it could be bike lanes, it could even be staggered working hours so that people are not heading to work at the same time or all at the same time, but they can have staggered, maybe those that go in the morning, in the afternoon, and all that. It could also incentivize carpooling as some of the possible solution. So that is the design thinking. It is not very linear. It allows for possible and alternative solution to a problem, and that is very important and probably why you find it very advocated for, so to speak. Then the second difference that we might pick is the focus of the process. Focus of the process. Now, the traditional approaches are problem focused. I want you to get this. The traditional approach is problem focused. So they are more into fixing what is broken. That is the traditional approaches. What about design thinking? Design thinking is more solution focused. It is more toward creating new possibility. So, and that's a major difference between the tradition and design thinking. Let's probably think of an example to this. Think of a school where the student performance is declining. So if you're the principal or the administrator who is focusing or using traditional approach, they may enforce stricter rules and maybe administer more exam, hoping that the problem will be fixed. But if you approaching the issue of student performance or declining student performance from a design thinking approach, you will find that teachers and students will be involved in coming up with a solution. For instance, the teachers and students may be involved in co-creating new learning methods using gamification, peer tutoring. For instance, students may be matched with another student, and interactive technology. And you may find that these options may have better results compared to the traditional approach. The stricter, the more exam, more learning hours and the right. So again, that gives you a better approach or a better difference between the traditional approaches and design thinking.